There is a battlefield more vital than any you will ever see on a map. It is not fought with steel or with fire, but with something far more potent, your own mind. And on this field, two forces are locked in an eternal struggle. On one side stands the person you were born to be, the Titan, the builder, the visionary, forged in the image of your highest aspirations. And on the other, a shadowy figure, an imposter who knows your every weakness, every fear, every scar. This is the enemy within. This enemy does not announce its arrival with the sound of trumpets. It slips in during the quiet moments. It is the voice that whispers, "You are not ready." The echo of a past failure that says, "It will happen again." The subtle comfort of delay that promises, "There is always tomorrow." It is the architect of your hesitation, the engineer of your self-doubt, and it is a master of disguise, often wearing the mask of reason, of caution, of practicality. It tells you to be realistic, not to protect you, but to shrink you. It tells you to be safe, not to preserve you, but to imprison you. It builds a cage of comfort and calls it a kingdom. And here is the brutal, unspoken truth of all human achievement. You will never conquer the world until you have defeated this enemy. You can have the grandest vision, the most detailed plan, the most powerful connections, but if this saboteur still sits on the throne of your mind, you will find a way to fail. It will convince you to pull back at the very moment you should charge forward. It will persuade you to listen to the chorus of doubters because their words harmonize with its own. It will drain your will, not with a single blow, but with 1,000 small compromises, 1,000 moments of surrendered ground. The great men and women who carved their names into the bedrock of history were not born without this enemy. They were simply the ones who refused to bow to it. Lincoln was not a man devoid of melancholy or doubt. He was a man who learned to command it. Edison did not succeed because he never failed. He succeeded because he saw failure not as a verdict, but as a signpost, refusing to let the enemy use it as evidence against him. Carnegie did not build an empire because he was immune to fear. He built it because his desire for his vision was greater than his fear of the risks. They all understood the first law of power. Mastery of the self is the prerequisite to mastery of circumstance. You are standing on that same battlefield right now. Every morning when you wake, the war begins anew. The choice is laid before you. Will you allow the enemy to dictate the terms of your day? To fill your mind with the static of anxiety and the weight of yesterday? Or will you rise as the rightful commander of your own consciousness? Will you seize control of your thoughts with the same determination a general seizes a hill? Because your thoughts are not harmless, passing clouds. They are the very substance from which your reality is molded. What you hold in your mind, you will hold in your hand. What you entertain in your heart, you will attract in your life. This is not a metaphor. It is a mechanism. Your mind is a broadcasting station, sending out a frequency into the universe. And that frequency is determined by the dominant nature of your thoughts. A mind steeped in fear, envy, and limitation broadcasts a signal of lack. And lack is what it receives in return. It finds evidence for its own poverty. It attracts circumstances that confirm its own weakness. But a mind that is deliberately tuned to the frequency of courage, of faith, of burning desire, sends out a signal of power. And the universe, in its immutable lawfulness, must respond in kind. It conspires to bring you the resources, the people, and the opportunities that match your broadcast. So do not curse your circumstances. Do not blame the world for the state of your affairs. Look inward. Look to the state of your mind. Have you allowed the enemy to run rampant, to plant weeds of negativity until they have choked out the garden of your potential? Have you become so accustomed to its voice that you now mistake it for your own? Today, that ends. Today, you begin the great work. Not the work of changing your job, or your city, or your relationships, but the work of changing the inner world from which all those things sprang. The first act of this war is declaration. You must stand in the quiet solitude of your own being and declare your sovereignty. You must say, I am the master of my thoughts. I am the captain of my soul. The voice of doubt is not my voice. The feeling of fear is not my identity. I will no longer give power to this imposter. I will no longer allow it to steal the birthright of the person I am meant to become. This is not a one-time proclamation. It is a daily practice. It is the conscious, deliberate act of choosing your thoughts as you would choose your clothes. When a thought of fear appears, you do not fight it. You simply refuse to wear it. You acknowledge it, And then you replace it with a thought of courage. When a thought of limitation enters your mind, you see it for what it is, a lie from the enemy, and you replace it with the truth of your infinite potential. You starve the enemy by refusing to feed it your attention. You weaken it by withdrawing the power of your belief. Think of your mind as a sacred temple. For too long, you have allowed vandals to desecrate its walls with graffiti of fear and despair. You have allowed the noise of the marketplace to drown out the sacred silence within. The time has come to cleanse the temple, to sweep out the debris of past regrets and future anxieties, to stand guard at the gate and refuse entry to any thought that does not align with the magnificent vision you hold for your life. This is the hardest work you will ever do. It is easier to build a skyscraper than it is to build an unconquerable mind. It requires a vigilance that never sleeps, a discipline that never wavers. But on the other side of this effort lies a freedom you cannot yet imagine. A power that is calm, centered, and absolute. The power to remain unshaken in the midst of chaos. The power to see opportunity where others see only obstacles. The power to create a life of your own deliberate design, not one of accident or compromise. The world out there, with all its noise and fury, is merely a reflection of the world in here. Defeat the enemy within, and you will find there is no enemy left to conquer. You do not begin this conquest with a sword, but with a blueprint. The enemy within thrives in ambiguity. It feeds on a lack of direction. A mind that does not know its destination is a mind that is easily hijacked. It wanders aimlessly, vulnerable to every passing fear, every distraction, every whisper of mediocrity. The man or woman who has no central purpose in their life is like a ship without a rudder. At the mercy of every wind and every wave, they become a drifter, and drifters are the natural prey of the enemy. This is why the starting point of all riches, both material and spiritual, is the crystallization of a definite chief aim. This is not a mere wish. It is not a vague hope. It is a clear, precise, and burning obsession. It is the one thing that you desire above all else. The one great purpose that gives meaning to your every action, to your every breath. When you define this aim, you are drawing the line in the sand. You are giving your subconscious mind its marching orders. You are erecting a North Star in the firmament of your consciousness. A light so bright that it burns away the fog of uncertainty. Look at the titans of industry and innovation. Ford was not simply a man who wanted to build cars. He was possessed by a definite aim, to put the world on wheels. To build a motor car for the great multitude. This vision consumed him. It was the lens through which he saw the world. It was the fuel that drove him through countless setbacks, through the scorn of his peers, through the immense challenges of creating something the world had never seen. His aim was not a hobby, it was a religion. Disney did not just want to make cartoons. He was driven by a burning desire to create a place where families could experience a sense of wonder and magic. A happiest place on earth. That definite aim was so powerful that it sustained him through bankruptcy, through betrayal, through a chorus of bankers who told him his dream of a theme park was absurd. When you have an aim that is definite, the opinions of others become irrelevant. The noise of the world fades into the background. Your purpose becomes your shield. Now, look at your own life. Can you state your definite chief aim in a single, clear sentence? If you cannot, then your number one priority is to retreat into the silence of your own mind and not emerge until you have found it. This is not something to be taken lightly. This is the foundation upon which your entire future will be built. What is it that you want? With every fiber of your being? What is the one great achievement that, if you accomplished it, would make you feel that your life had been a masterpiece? Write it down. Do not type it. Take a pen and write it on paper. There is a sacred connection between the mind and the hand. The act of writing it down transforms it from a fleeting thought into a tangible commitment. Write it in the present tense, as if it were already a reality. I am a world-renowned author who inspires millions. Not, I want to be an author. I am the creator of a technology that is revolutionizing my industry. Not, I hope to create something. Words are the clothing of thought. Dress your aim in the language of certainty. Once you have written it, you must impress it upon your subconscious mind until it becomes a part of you. Read your statement aloud every morning when you rise, and every night before you sleep. Read it with passion, with emotion, with absolute conviction. As you read it, see yourself as already in possession of your goal. Feel the emotions you would feel if it were already true. Feel the pride, the joy, a sense of accomplishment. You are rehearsing your future. You are training your mind to accept this new reality. You are closing the gap between the person you are and the person you are becoming. This daily ritual does two things. First, it keeps your purpose at the forefront of your conscious mind, ensuring that your daily actions are aligned with your long-term vision. Second, and more importantly, it seeps into the fertile soil of your subconscious. Your subconscious mind does not reason. It accepts what is impressed upon it as fact. And once it accepts your definite aim as a command, it will begin to work night and day to bring it into reality. It will give you hunches, flashes of inspiration, and creative ideas. It will draw into your experience the people and resources you need. It will guide your steps in ways that your conscious mind could never conceive. This is the secret of the lucky few. Their luck is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of design. They are not lucky, they are definite. They are not fortunate, they are focused. While others drift through life, reacting to whatever comes their way, the person with a definite aim moves with purpose. They have an internal compass that keeps them on course, even in the fiercest storms. When you have a definite aim, the enemy within begins to starve. Doubt cannot survive in a mind that is filled with purpose. Fear cannot take root in a heart that is ablaze with a burning desire. Indecision is paralyzed by the force of a clear objective. Your definite aim becomes the general of your inner army, and all your thoughts and energies fall in line behind it. You stop wasting your mental and emotional capital on trivialities. You stop getting pulled into the dramas and distractions that consume the lives of the aimless. Every decision becomes simple. Does this move me closer to my aim, or further away? If it moves you closer, you do it. If it does not, you discard it without a second thought. This is the beginning of self-mastery. It is the first great victory against the enemy within. By defining what you want, you are defining who you are. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but the architect of your destiny. You have taken the formless energy of your life and given it direction. You have taken the scattered power of your mind and focused it into a laser beam of intention. And with that focused beam, you can burn through any obstacle, overcome any setback, and create any reality you choose. So do not let another day pass in the fog of ambiguity. Find your definite chief aim, engrave it upon your heart, and let it be the fire that lights your way and the iron that strengthens your soul. With your definite aim as your North Star, you must now fuel your journey with the most potent force in the human arsenal, faith. Not the passive, hopeful wishing that most people mistake for faith, but the active, unwavering, absolute belief that your aim is not just possible, but inevitable. This is the faith that Napoleon Hill described as a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion. It is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the bridge between the world of thought and the world of physical manifestation. The enemy within is a master at attacking faith. It will whisper that your dream is too big, that you are not worthy, that the odds are stacked against you. It will parade before your mind's eye every past failure, every criticism, every piece of evidence that suggests you are destined to fall short. It will try to plant seeds of cynicism, telling you that faith is for the foolish, for the naive, and if you allow these whispers to take hold, your definite aim, no matter how brilliant, will be stillborn. A rocket with no fuel can never leave the launch pad. A vision without faith can never leave the mind. You must build your faith as a stonemason builds a wall, brick by brick, day by day, with deliberate and conscious effort. Your faith is not a gift, it is a muscle, and it is strengthened through practice. The first brick you lay is the control of your own thoughts. You cannot entertain thoughts of doubt and expect to have a mind of faith. The two are mutually exclusive. You must become a vigilant guardian at the gate of your mind. And you must refuse entry to any thought that contradicts the reality of your success. When the thought, "What if I fail?" arises, you do not engage it in debate. You immediately and forcefully replace it with the declaration, "I am succeeding." When the feeling of fear creeps into your heart, you do not surrender to it. You close your eyes and you visualize yourself acting with courage and power. You feel the feeling of confidence in your body. Even if it feels artificial at first, you are acting your way into a new state of being. You are faking it until you become it. This is not dishonesty, it is the highest form of creative engineering. The second brick in the wall of your faith is the principle of autosuggestion. This is the practice of deliberately feeding your mind with affirmations that support your definite aim. As you read your written statement of purpose each day, You are not just reminding yourself of your goal. You are reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are overriding the old programming of lack and limitation with a new program of abundance and power. You are instructing your inner world to produce the outer results you desire. Your subconscious mind is like the fertile earth. It will grow whatever seed you plant in it, whether it be a seed of corn or a seed of nightshade. For years, perhaps your entire life, you have been unconsciously planting seeds of doubt and fear, sown by the enemy within and the negative influences of the world around you. Now, you must take conscious control of the planting. You must relentlessly sow seeds of faith, of courage, of abundance. You must saturate your mind with the thoughts and feelings of the person you wish to become. Think of the great inventors. The Wright brothers did not just hope to fly. They had an unshakable faith that they would. They could see their machine soaring through the air in their mind's eye long before it ever left the ground. This inner vision, this absolute faith, is what carried them through years of ridicule and countless failed experiments. It was their faith that gave them the resilience to continue when everyone else said it was impossible. The third brick is the power of a mastermind alliance. The enemy within thrives in isolation. It is much harder to maintain faith when you are surrounded by skeptics and doubters. You must consciously choose to surround yourself with people who believe in you, who support your vision, and who hold you to a higher standard. A mastermind is a coordination of knowledge and effort, in a spirit of harmony, between two or more people, for the attainment of a definite purpose. When you share your vision with like-minded individuals, something miraculous happens. Their belief reinforces your own. Their energy amplifies your energy. The creative intelligence of the group far surpasses the intelligence of any single individual. In the presence of a true mastermind, your faith is no longer just a personal conviction. It becomes a shared reality, a collective force that is infinitely more powerful. Seek out these allies, build these relationships, protect your mind from the poison of negativity by immersing it in an environment of faith and encouragement. The enemy will test you. It will orchestrate circumstances that seem to prove your faith is foolish. You will face setbacks. You will encounter obstacles. The world will give you every reason to abandon your belief. And in these moments, your faith will be all you have. It will be the anchor that holds you steady in the storm. It will be the light that guides you through the darkness. It is in the crucible of adversity that true faith is forged. Every time you hold fast to your belief in the face of contrary evidence, you strengthen it. Every time you choose to trust your vision over your circumstances, you add another layer of steel to your resolve. Do not look for evidence to believe. Believe, and the evidence will appear. That is the law. The physical world is the last to get the memo. The change must happen first in the invisible world of your mind. In the unwavering certainty of your faith, you must have the audacity to believe in your dream so completely that you feel grateful for it even before it has manifested. This is the highest form of faith, gratitude in advance. It is the ultimate statement to the universe that you know your desire is on its way. So build your wall of faith, brick by brick. Guard your thoughts, practice auto-suggestion, form your mastermind. And when the tests come, as they surely will, stand firm. Let your faith be your shield and your sword. For with a faith that is absolute and unwavering, you become a force of nature. You align yourself with the creative power of the universe, and you render the enemy within utterly powerless. Because in the presence of a mind that truly believes, doubt cannot breathe, and fear has no place to hide. Faith, however, is not a passive state. It is a catalyst for creation. And creation requires a medium. That medium is action. All the belief in the world, all the clarity of purpose, all the meticulously crafted plans are nothing but a pleasant daydream until they are married to bold, consistent, and disciplined action. Action is the currency of reality. It is the force that turns the invisible into the visible. It is the hammer that shapes the raw material of thought into the finished product of achievement. The enemy within loves inaction. It is the swamp in which procrastination and indecision breed. In the absence of movement, fear grows larger, doubt becomes more persuasive, and the will to begin atrophies. The longer you wait to act on an idea, the weaker that idea becomes. Its emotional fire dims, and the enemy whispers, "See, it wasn't such a good idea after all. It's better to wait for the perfect moment." But there is no perfect moment. There is no magical time when all the lights will be green, and all the risks will have vanished. Ready, is a myth perpetuated by the timid. The only readiness you need is the readiness to begin, the willingness to take the first imperfect step, the courage to move before you feel certain. The titans of history were not men and women who waited for perfect conditions. They were masters of personal initiative. They had a bias for action. When an idea came to them, they acted on it immediately. They understood that momentum is a creator's most valuable asset. Henry Ford did not wait until he had perfected the assembly line in his mind before he started building it. He began with a crude, inefficient process and refined it through relentless action and experimentation. He learned by doing. His factory was his laboratory. He let action be his teacher. He knew that it is better to make a mistake in motion than to be perfect in stagnation. This is a critical lesson. You must cultivate a habit of immediate action. When you have an impulse to do something that moves you toward your definite aim, you must act on it within seconds. Do not allow the enemy the time to build a case against it. If you feel the urge to make a difficult phone call, pick up the phone. If you have an idea for a project, open a notebook and sketch it out. If you know you need to have a courageous conversation, walk into the room and start talking. You are training your nervous system to obey your higher self without hesitation. You are building a reputation with yourself as someone who does what they say they will do. This practice of immediate action does something profound to your psyche. It builds self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, no matter how small, you cast a vote for the identity of a person who is reliable, disciplined, and powerful. And every time you procrastinate, you cast a vote for the identity of someone who is weak and untrustworthy. Over time, these votes accumulate. They either build you into a fortress of self-respect or erode you into a pile of rubble. Furthermore, action is the greatest generator of clarity. You cannot think your way to a solution. You must act your way into it. It is only when you are in motion, engaging with the world, that you receive the feedback you need to adjust your course. The plan you start with is rarely the plan that gets you to the finish line. It is a starting point, a hypothesis. You must take that hypothesis into the real world and test it. Action reveals the flaws in your strategy. It uncovers unforeseen obstacles and unexpected opportunities. It is the great teacher that theory can never replace. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. The only people who don't make mistakes are the people who don't do anything. Mistakes are not a sign of failure. They are a sign that you are in the arena. They are the tuition you pay for your education and achievement. Embrace them, learn from them, but do not let the fear of them paralyze you. The enemy wants you to be perfect. It wants you to wait until you know everything, until you are completely prepared. Because it knows that if you wait for that day, it will never come. Break your grand vision down into the smallest possible actions, and then focus on executing just the next one. You do not need to see the entire staircase. You only need to see the first step. Take it, and when you have taken it, the next step will be revealed. This is how great cathedrals are built, one stone at a time. This is how great fortunes are amassed, one decision, one action at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single, decisive movement. Organize your days around action, not around busyness. It is easy to fill your hours with trivial tasks that make you feel productive but do not actually move you closer to your definite aim. This is another one of the enemy's clever tricks, the illusion of progress. You must be ruthless in prioritizing. At the start of each day, ask yourself, what is the one single action I can take today that will have the greatest impact on my long-term vision? Identify that action, and then do it first. Before anything else, attack your most important task while your will is strong and your mind is clear. Win that first battle, and you will set a tone of victory for the entire day. Discipline is the engine of action. It is the ability to do what you know you must do, even when you do not feel like doing it. Motivation is fleeting. Inspiration is a fickle guest. Discipline is the bedrock. It is the bridge between your goals and your accomplishment. You must cultivate the discipline to show up every day, especially on the days you don't want to. You must honor the schedule you set for yourself. You must keep the promises you make to yourself. This is the path of the professional. Amateurs work when they feel inspired. Professionals work according to a schedule. They know that greatness is not the result of a few flashes of brilliance, but the cumulative effect of thousands of hours of consistent, focused effort. They treat their craft with reverence, and they honor it with their discipline. Your life is a direct reflection of your standards. If you tolerate procrastination, your life will be filled with delay. If you tolerate mediocrity, your life will be average. You must raise your standard. You must demand more from yourself than anyone else would ever expect. You must decide that from this day forward, you are a person of action. You are a finisher. You are someone who moves with purpose and executes with precision. Do not talk about what you are going to do. Let your actions speak for you. The world is full of talkers, of dreamers, of planners. Be a doer. Be the one who gets their hands dirty. Be the one who stays late, who gets up early, who pushes through the pain and the fatigue. Let your results be your testimony. For in the final analysis, you are not judged by your intentions, but by your actions. Defeat the enemy's call for comfort and delay. Answer the call of your definite aim with immediate, unwavering, and relentless action, and watch as the world rearranges itself to accommodate your will. But when you step into that arena of action, when you declare your war on mediocrity, do not expect a swift and easy victory. The moment you begin to move, you will meet resistance. The universe tests those who dare to be great. It does not yield its treasures to the timid or the easily discouraged. The enemy within, having failed to keep you in chains of inaction, will now change its tactics. It will use the very resistance you encounter as its new weapon. It will point to your struggles and whisper, "I told you it was too hard. I told you that you weren't good enough. This is proof. It's time to retreat." And you will be tempted to believe it. Because you will stumble, you will fall, you will pour your heart and soul into a project, only to see it crumble. You will trust, and you will be betrayed. You will work, and you will not see immediate results. This is not a possibility, it is a certainty. This is the nature of the climb. And it is at this very point, the point of first contact with real failure, that the vast majority of people surrender. This is where the masses turn back to the well-trodden path of safety and quiet desperation. But you are not the masses. You must understand what they do not. Failure is not a person. It is an event. It is not a character flaw. It is a data point. It is not the end of your story. It is a plot twist. Napoleon Hill discovered, in his study of over 500 of the world's most successful individuals, that every single one of them had a close and intimate relationship with failure. The difference was their attitude toward it. They did not see failure as the opposite of success. They saw it as an indispensable part of the process. Failure is nature's great filter. It is designed to weed out those whose desire is not strong enough, whose faith is not deep enough, whose purpose is not definite enough. It is a fire that burns away the non-essential, leaving only the pure, unyielding core of your conviction. When you face failure, you are not being punished. You are being tested. You are being asked a simple question: how badly do you want it? Look at the life of Abraham Lincoln. Before he became one of the most revered figures in history, his life was a litany of crushing defeats. He failed in business. He was defeated for the legislature. He was rejected by the woman he loved. He had a nervous breakdown. He was defeated for Congress. He was defeated for the Senate. He was defeated for vice president. After each defeat, the enemy within surely screamed at him to quit, to accept that he was not meant for public life. But Lincoln refused to listen. He treated each failure as a lesson in the school of leadership. Each defeat tempered him, deepened his empathy, and strengthened his resolve. He learned from his mistakes, adjusted his course, and kept moving forward toward his definite aim. His failures did not break him, they made him. This is the mindset you must adopt. You must greet failure not with despair, but with curiosity. You must look it square in the eye and ask, "What are you here to teach me?" Every setback contains a hidden lesson. Every mistake reveals a weakness in your strategy. Every heartbreak holds an opportunity for growth. Your job is not to avoid failure, but to extract the wisdom from it and use that wisdom to come back stronger, smarter, and more determined than before. Within every adversity, Hill taught, lies the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. This is one of the most powerful truths you will ever learn. It means that the universe is never just taking from you. It is always offering you something in return, if you have the eyes to see it. That devastating business loss might contain the seed of a new, more powerful business model. The painful end of a relationship might hold the seed of profound self-discovery and the chance to attract a partner who is truly aligned with you. The humiliating rejection might be the seed that forces you to develop an unshakable inner confidence that is not dependent on external validation. When you are in the midst of the storm, it is difficult to see the seed. The pain is real. The disappointment is sharp. The enemy's voice is loud. In that moment, you must rely on faith. You must have faith that the seed is there. Even if you cannot see it, you must trust the process. You must know, with every fiber of your being, that this setback is not a random act of cruelty, but a necessary part of your journey. It is a redirection, not a rejection. The practice of finding the seed is an active one. After the initial emotional storm has passed, you must sit down with a pen and paper and analyze the situation objectively. Ask yourself, what did I learn about myself? What did I learn about my plan? How can I use this experience to my advantage? What doors has this closed? And what new doors might it be opening? By consciously looking for the benefit, you shift your focus from what was lost to what can be gained. You transform yourself from a victim into an alchemist, a creator who can turn the lead of adversity into the gold of opportunity. Resilience is not about never falling down. It is about how quickly you get back up. It is about your ability to absorb the blows, learn the lessons, and keep marching forward. It is the quality that separates the champions from the contenders. The world is full of talented, intelligent, and creative people who never achieve anything of significance. They are not lacking in ability, they are lacking in grit. They do not have the capacity to endure the inevitable pain of the creative process. At the first sign of real trouble, they fold. You must be different. You must cultivate an unconquerable spirit. You must decide in advance that there is no setback, no failure, no amount of criticism that can turn you from your definite aim. You must make a pact with yourself that you will either find a way or make one. When you make this decision, you become unstoppable. The universe conspires to help the person who refuses to quit. Think of Walt Disney. He was fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. His first animation studio went bankrupt. He was swindled out of the rights to his first successful character. He faced financial ruin multiple times while trying to build Disneyland, a project everyone told him was a folly. But Disney's belief in his vision was stronger than any temporary defeat. He saw each failure as a temporary detour, not a dead end. He possessed a stubborn, relentless persistence that simply wore down the opposition. This is the kind of persistence you must develop. Not a blind, brutish stubbornness, but an intelligent persistence, informed by the lessons of your failures. You persist in your aim, but you remain flexible in your approach. If one plan fails, you create another. If one door closes, you look for a window. You adapt, you pivot, you evolve, but you never, ever give up on your central purpose. The enemy within wants you to quit. It wants you to believe that the pain of trying is greater than the potential reward. It will tell you that you've done enough, that you deserve a rest. But you must know that persistence is its own reward. With each step you take after you have been knocked down, you are killing the enemy. You are proving to yourself and to the world that your will is stronger than your circumstances. You are forging a character of steel. And one day, you will look back on the failures that once seemed so devastating. And you will see them for what they truly were. The stepping stones that led you to your victory. They were the chisel that sculpted you into the champion you were always meant to be. As you navigate this path of action and resilience, as you learn to turn failure into fuel, you must also master the subtle art of influence. Your journey is not a solo mission. No great achievement in the history of the world was accomplished by one person alone. Your success will be directly proportional to your ability to win the willing cooperation of other people. The hermit on the mountain may achieve enlightenment, but he will not build an empire, create a global movement, or lead a nation. To do great things in the world, you must work with the world. And here, the enemy within reveals another of its insidious strategies. It fosters habits of personality that repel the very people you need to attract. It encourages criticism, envy, arrogance, and negativity. It convinces you that being disagreeable is a sign of strength, that being cynical is a mark of intelligence. It creates a personality so abrasive, so unpleasant, that it drives away potential allies and turns would-be supporters into adversaries. Many a brilliant mind has failed in life, not for lack of talent or vision, but because they possessed a personality that made others unwilling to help them. You must make the development of a pleasing personality a conscious part of your self-development. This is not about being fake or manipulative. It is not about becoming a sycophantic people pleaser. It is about cultivating genuine qualities that inspire trust, admiration, and a desire to cooperate. It is about understanding that your interactions with others are a reflection of your relationship with yourself. A person who is at war with themselves is invariably at war with the world. A person who has cultivated inner harmony radiates that harmony outward. The first and most important quality of a pleasing personality is a genuinely positive mental attitude. You must become a person who habitually looks for the good in people and in situations. You must radiate an energy of optimism and enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the most contagious of all emotions. When you are genuinely excited about your vision, about your work, about life itself, people are naturally drawn to you. They want to be a part of what you are creating. They want to share in your energy. A chronic critic, a professional complainer, on the other hand, repels others. They suck the energy out of a room. People may tolerate them, but they will never willingly follow them. Monitor your speech. Have you made a habit of complaining? Do you frequently criticize others, either to their face or behind their back? Do you engage in gossip or negative speculation? These habits are poison. They not only make you unpleasant to be around, but they also reinforce a negative mindset within you, strengthening the enemy's hold. Make a decision to eliminate criticism, complaining, and gossip from your life. When you speak of others, speak only of their good qualities. When you discuss a situation, focus on the opportunities, not the problems. This single change will transform your relationships and your own mental state. The second quality is the ability to be a good listener. Most people do not listen. They simply wait for their turn to talk. They are so engrossed in their own thoughts, in what they are going to say next, that they completely miss the meaning and the feeling behind the other person's words. When you give someone your full, undivided attention, when you listen with genuine curiosity and empathy, you give them a profound gift. You make them feel seen, heard, and valued. This builds an instant rapport and a deep sense of trust. The person who knows how to listen attentively will learn secrets and gain insights that are completely inaccessible to the person who only knows how to talk. The third quality is the mastery of your emotions. The enemy within loves to hijack your emotional responses. It will provoke you to anger, to jealousy, to impatience. A person who is ruled by their emotions is unpredictable and unstable. People are hesitant to trust them or rely on them. The person who has mastered their emotions, however, radiates a calm strength. They are not easily provoked. They respond to situations with thought and poise, not with knee-jerk reactions. They can disagree without being disagreeable. They can face a crisis without panicking. This emotional stability makes them a rock that others can depend on. A leader that others will follow through fire. Develop the habit of smiling. A genuine smile is a universal symbol of goodwill. It costs nothing, but it is one of the most powerful tools of influence you possess. It instantly puts others at ease and signals that you are friendly and approachable. It can diffuse a tense situation and open a closed mind. Do not underestimate its power. Remember people's names. Dale Carnegie said that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound in any language. When you take the time to remember and use someone's name, you are sending a subtle but powerful message. You are important to me. I see you as an individual. This small act of respect can build bridges and open doors. Finally, develop a genuine interest in other people. Ask them about their goals, their passions, their families. Be more interested in them than you are in impressing them with your own accomplishments. The paradox of influence is that the more you focus on lifting others up, the more they will elevate you. The more you help others get what they want, the more they will help you get what you want. Cultivating a pleasing personality is not a superficial exercise. It is a deep, spiritual practice. It is the outward expression of an inner state of grace. It requires you to defeat the enemy of ego, of selfishness, of negativity. It requires you to become the kind of person that you yourself would want to follow. As you consciously work to develop these qualities, you will find that the world begins to open up to you in a new way. Allies will appear, opportunities will arise, your path will be smoothed not by luck, but by the goodwill you have earned. You will discover that the greatest power in the world is not the power to command, but the power to attract. And by becoming a center of positive, harmonious energy, you will attract all the success and happiness you could ever desire. And as you cultivate this personality that attracts and inspires, you will discover its secret source, the wellspring from which all genuine positivity flows. This source is gratitude, not the fleeting, Conditional gratitude that thanks the world only when it delivers what is asked of it. But a profound, unshakable, and strategic state of being. This is gratitude as a weapon. It is the most powerful antidote to the poison of the enemy within. The enemy thrives on the frequency of lack. It is a creature of the void. It directs your focus relentlessly toward what is missing, what is broken, what you have not yet achieved. It wants you to live in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. Because a dissatisfied mind is a weak mind. A mind easily controlled. It will point to the millionaire and make you feel poor. It will point to the champion and make you feel inadequate. It will point to your distant goal and make you feel hopelessly far away. It wants you to believe that your happiness, your peace, and your sense of worth are all waiting for you on the other side of some future accomplishment. This is the greatest lie it will ever tell you. And gratitude is the truth that shatters it. Gratitude is the conscious and deliberate act of tuning your mind to the frequency of abundance. Right here, right now. It is the declaration that even before your grandest dreams have manifested, your life is already rich. Your blessings are already countless. And you are already whole. It is a state of mind that says, I have enough. I am enough. When you adopt an attitude of gratitude, you starve the enemy. It cannot survive in a heart that is filled with thanks. The feeling of lack cannot coexist with the feeling of abundance. The anxiety about the future cannot take root in a mind that is fully present to the blessings of the now. You shift your entire energetic signature. You cease to be a needy beggar, pleading with the universe for scraps. And you become a powerful magnet, attracting more of what you are already thankful for. The law is simple. What you appreciate, appreciates. This is not a passive sentiment. It is a fierce and disciplined practice. You must hunt for gratitude with the same intensity you would hunt for success. You must make it a non-negotiable part of your daily ritual. When you wake each morning, before the world has a chance to tell you what you lack, you must tell yourself what you have. Before your feet touch the floor, find 5 things for which you are genuinely grateful. Do not start with the grand and the abstract. Start with the immediate and the real. Be grateful for the air in your lungs. There are those who struggled for their last breath this morning. Be grateful for the heart that is beating in your chest. A relentless drum that has not missed a beat your entire life. Be grateful for the roof over your head, the clean water you drink, the simple fact that you have another day, another chance, another opportunity to move toward your destiny. This practice grounds you in reality. It anchors you in the undeniable truth of your present abundance. From this foundation of strength, you can then face the day's challenges not from a place of desperation, but from a place of fullness. You are not fighting for survival. You're creating from a position of power. But the practice must go deeper. The true master of this art learns to be grateful not just for the pleasant things, but for the challenges as well. You must learn to be grateful for your failures, for they are your greatest teachers. Be grateful for your critics, for they reveal your insecurities and force you to strengthen your convictions. Be grateful for your fears, for they show you where your next level of growth lies. Be grateful for the pain, for it is the sensation of your own expansion, the feeling of your spirit stretching beyond its former limits. When you can genuinely say, thank you, for the obstacle, you have reached a new level of power. You have understood that the universe is not happening to you, it is happening for you. Every event, no matter how it appears on the surface, is conspiring for your ultimate good, for your evolution. The enemy cannot use adversity against a person who is grateful for it. You have taken its greatest weapon and transformed it into your greatest source of strength. The highest level of this practice, the one that bends reality to your will, is to cultivate gratitude for your definite aim before it has physically arrived. This is the ultimate act of faith. You must feel the gratitude in your heart now for the wealth you are creating, for the relationships you are building, for the person you are becoming. This is not delusion. It is a conscious alignment with the creative laws of the universe. When you feel grateful for something in advance, you are sending out the most powerful signal possible. You are telling your subconscious mind and the universe itself that your success is a foregone conclusion. It is done. It is already a fact in the invisible realm of cause. And it is now simply a matter of time before it materializes in the visible realm of effect. This feeling of gratitude closes the energetic gap between where you are and where you want to be. You are no longer chasing your dream. You are vibrating in harmony with it. And what you are in vibrational harmony with, you must attract. Imagine 2 farmers, Both want a bountiful harvest. The first farmer walks his field every day, complaining about the lack of rain, worrying about pests, lamenting the slow growth of his crops. He lives in a state of fear and lack. The second farmer walks his field with a heart full of thanks. He is grateful for the fertile soil, for the sun that shines, for the seeds he has planted. He feels gratitude in his heart for the bountiful harvest that he knows is coming. Which farmer do you think the universe is more likely to support? Which one is creating the energetic conditions for success? You are that farmer. Your mind is that field. Choose what you will plant there. Will you plant the seeds of worry and complaint, watered by the enemy within? Or will you plant the seeds of gratitude, watered by an unwavering faith in the abundance of life? Make this your shield. When you feel the pull of envy, stop and list 10 things you are grateful for in your own life. When you feel the sting of disappointment, stop and find the seed of equivalent benefit in the situation, and be grateful for the lesson. When you feel the anxiety of the unknown future, stop and anchor yourself in the solid reality of this present moment, and be grateful for the gift of being alive. Gratitude is the language of the soul. It is the frequency of miracles. It is the quiet, calm, centered power that dissolves fear, neutralizes negativity, and aligns you with the highest forces of creation. Defeat the enemy's narrative of lack by becoming an apostle of abundance. Let your life become a testament not to what you have acquired, but to how deeply you have appreciated. For in the end, a life of success is not measured by its possessions, but by its praise, and a heart full of gratitude is the richest treasure of all. With a heart fortified by gratitude and a personality that draws opportunity toward you, you must now sharpen the most potent tool of creation you possess, your mind. Not just as a vessel for belief, but as an active, dynamic workshop where your future is designed and constructed. The enemy within wants you to believe that your current knowledge is the limit of your potential. It wants you to see your mind as a finished product, a static library of past experiences. But your mind is not a monument, it is a forge. And in that forge, two divine sparks reside: specialized knowledge and imagination. Do not be confused by the world's worship of general knowledge. A mind filled with 1,000 disconnected facts is little more than a trivia book. It is not power. True power lies in specialized knowledge, a deep, expert understanding in a chosen field, organized and intelligently directed, through practical plans of action, to a definite end. Andrew Carnegie knew little about the technical process of making steel, but he surrounded himself with men who did. His specialized knowledge was in the organization of talent and capital. He knew how to acquire knowledge, how to organize it, and how to direct it toward his definite chief aim of industrial domination. You do not need to hold all the necessary knowledge in your own head. You must simply know where to find it and how to harness it. This is the power of the Master-Mind Alliance. But you must commit yourself to becoming a master in your chosen domain. You must become a perpetual student. The moment you believe you are an expert who has nothing left to learn, the enemy has won. It has locked you into the prison of your own arrogance. You must read, study, and listen with a voracious appetite. You must seek out mentors and learn from those who have already achieved what you wish to achieve. You are gathering the raw materials, the wood, the stone, the steel, that you will use to build your empire. But raw materials, no matter how valuable, are useless until they are shaped by a creator. The faculty that shapes knowledge into plans is your imagination. This is the workshop of your soul. It is here that all the plans of humankind have been fashioned. It is the single faculty that separates us from the beasts of the field. The power that allows us to see not just what is, but what could be. Your imagination functions in two forms. The first is synthetic imagination. This is the faculty you use most often. It does not create anything entirely new. Instead, it arranges old concepts, ideas, or plans into new combinations. Edison used synthetic imagination when he created the light bulb. He did not invent electricity or glass or filaments from scratch. He took existing principles and, through thousands of experiments, combined them into a new, revolutionary application. Nearly all invention, nearly all innovation, begins here. You take the specialized knowledge you have acquired, and you rearrange it, you combine it. You ask, what if I connected this to that? What if I applied this process to that industry? This is where you create your plans. The second, more mysterious form is creative imagination. This is the faculty that connects you to what Napoleon Hill called infinite intelligence. It is the source of hunches, of flashes of inspiration, of gut feelings. It is the wellspring of true genius. It is through creative imagination that brand new, original ideas are brought into the world. This faculty cannot be controlled in the same way as synthetic imagination. It functions best when your conscious mind is quiet, when you are in a state of high vibration, filled with faith and burning desire. The ideas it delivers often come suddenly, like a flash of lightning in the dark, revealing a solution to a problem you have been wrestling with for months. The enemy within despises imagination. It is a creature of the past, and imagination is the language of the future. The enemy will attack your creative faculty with its most trusted weapons, ridicule and fear. It will tell you, "That's a stupid idea. It will never work." It will remind you of the time you shared a creative thought and were laughed at. It will instill in you a mortal fear of looking foolish. It will whisper, "Be practical. Stick to what you know. Stay in your lane." It tries to convince you that you are not one of the creative types, as if creativity were a magical gift bestowed upon a chosen few. This is a lie. Imagination is your birthright. It is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with use and atrophies with neglect. You must consciously exercise your imagination every single day. Take time to daydream. Take time to wonder. Ask, "What if?" questions relentlessly. What if I had no limitations? What if money were no object? What if I could not fail? Allow your mind to soar beyond the confines of your current reality. Give your imagination problems to solve. Before you go to sleep at night, state your most pressing challenge to your subconscious mind and ask your creative imagination to go to work on it. Trust that the answer will come. It may come in a dream, in the shower the next morning, or in a sudden insight while you are on a walk. You must create the space for these answers to arrive. A mind that is constantly cluttered with noise, worry, and digital distraction cannot hear the whispers of creative imagination. Solitude and silence are the soil in which the seeds of genius sprout. Do not be afraid to experiment. Do not be afraid of your ideas being imperfect. The first draft of anything is always flawed. The first prototype always has bugs. The creative process is messy. It is not a straight line. It is a dance between synthetic imagination, where you build and combine, and creative imagination, where you receive and refine. You must be willing to build something, see it fail, learn the lesson, and build it again, better this time. Each iteration strengthens your skill and clarifies your vision. The great industrial and artistic empires of our time were not built by practical men who only did what had been done before. They were built by dreamers, by men and women who were able to see in their mind's eye a world that did not yet exist. They saw cities where there were swamps. They saw horseless carriages when there were only horses. They saw global networks when there was only wire and static. They used their specialized knowledge to ground their visions in reality. But it was their imagination that gave them the vision in the first place. Your mind is a kingdom. For too long, you have allowed the enemy of rigid, fearful, practical thinking to rule it. Today, you enthrone a new ruler, your imagination. You give it permission to be bold, to be daring, to be unconventional. You feed it with knowledge. You exercise it with questions. You protect it with silence. You unleash it with the courage to act on its visions. This is how you become an architect of the future, not just a resident of the past. You take the formless energy of desire. You give it shape with your imagination. You ground it with specialized knowledge. And you bring it to life with disciplined action. You defeat the enemy within by out-creating it. You build a vision so powerful, so compelling, so beautiful, that in its light, the shadows of doubt and fear simply cease to exist. You have gathered the knowledge. You have ignited your imagination. You stand now in the workshop of your mind, holding the blueprint for a new reality. But a blueprint is not a building. An idea, no matter how brilliant, is inert until it is infused with the fire of a resolute choice. The final weapon you must sharpen, the one that gives life to all the others, is the power of decision. Indecision is the native language of the enemy within. It is the stagnant water where fear and doubt multiply. The person who hesitates, who weighs every option to the point of paralysis, who waits for absolute certainty before they move, has already surrendered. They have given the power of choice away to their circumstances, to the opinions of others, and to the relentless passage of time. Indecision is the quiet, daily assassination of your dreams. The great leaders of this world, the architects of fortune, were all marked by one common trait: they made decisions quickly and firmly. When Henry Ford decided to produce his V8 motor, he was told by his engineers it was impossible to cast an 8-cylinder engine block in one piece. "Produce it anyway," was his command. They tried and failed. They worked day and night for over a year. But Ford's decision was final. He did not waver. He did not second guess. And because his decision was absolute, his organization was forced to invent a way to make it a reality. That is the power of a made-up mind. It bends the world to its will. When you make a true decision, you cut off all other possibilities. The word decide comes from the Latin root cadere, to cut. You are cutting away the option of retreat. You are burning the bridges behind you. You are committing yourself to one course of action and declaring that you will see it through, no matter the obstacles. This act of closure is terrifying to the enemy within, because its power lies in keeping your options open, in keeping you in a state of perpetual what if. A swift, firm decision starves it of the uncertainty it needs to survive. Look at your life. Where have you been indecisive? Where have you been postponing a choice? Waiting for more information, for a better time, for a sign from the heavens? Be honest. In those areas, you are stagnating. You are leaking power. You must understand that a wrong decision is often better than no decision at all. A wrong decision puts you in motion. It produces feedback. It gives you a lesson from which you can learn and pivot. But indecision produces nothing but regret. It is a slow death. You have your definite chief aim. You have your plan, born of imagination and specialized knowledge. Now, you must decide to execute it. Not to try it, not to hope it works, but to execute it as if your life depends on it, because it does. The life you were meant to live is hanging in the balance, waiting for your command. This is the final synthesis. This is the moment you bring all your forces to bear. You stand as the general on the battlefield of your own mind. Your definite aim is your banner, flying high and clear. Your faith is your impenetrable shield, deflecting the arrows of doubt. Your imagination is your intelligence core, revealing the path forward. Your organized plan is your strategy of attack. Your pleasing personality and master mind are your loyal allies, fighting alongside you. Your gratitude is the lifeblood of your army, keeping morale high and spirits strong. Your resilience is your ability to stand up after every blow, more determined than before. And your power of decision is your sword. It is the instrument that cuts through hesitation and commits you to the fight. And your action is the swing of that sword. Again, and again, and again. This is the culmination of all your training. The war is not out there. It was never out there. The poverty, the frustration, the lack, the loneliness, they were never the true enemy. They were only symptoms. They were shadows cast by the one true adversary, the imposter in your own mind, the voice of fear, the ghost of your past, the comfort of mediocrity. For years, you have listened to its counsel. For years, you have let it guide your choices. You have let it convince you that you are smaller than you are. You have let it shrink your dreams to fit the size of its cage. But its reign is over. The time for negotiating is done. The time for waiting is over. The time for being a spectator in your own life has come to an end. You must now rise from the ashes of the person you used to be. You must look that enemy in the eye, that phantom of fear that has haunted you for so long. And you must see it for what it is, a liar, a shadow, a thought that you have allowed to become a tyrant. And you must declare, with a voice that shakes the foundations of your own soul, you have no more power over me. You have no more authority here. I am the ruler of this mind. I am the master of this fate. I am the captain of this soul. This is the ultimate decision. It is the choice from which all other choices are born. It is the commitment to live the rest of your life as the hero of your story, not the victim. To live by design, not by default. To lie from a place of power, not from a place of apology. Do not expect the enemy to vanish overnight. It will test your new resolve. It will rage against its loss of power. But now, you are armed. Now, you are ready. When it whispers of doubt, you will drown it out with the roar of your definite aim. When it shows you images of failure, you will blind it with the light of your unwavering faith. When it calls for you to halt, you will answer with immediate, decisive action. You will meet its every tactic with a superior strategy, until its voice grows faint and its presence fades into nothingness. This is your calling. This is your destiny. Not to struggle, not to survive, but to command, to become the conscious creator of your reality. To build a life so magnificent, so filled with purpose, passion, and contribution, that it stands as a testament to the limitless power that resides within the human spirit. The world out there is waiting. It is waiting for you to become the person you were born to be. It is waiting for the gifts that only you can give. Stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for an invitation. The gate is open. The battle is now. Defeat the enemy within, and you will find that you have already conquered the world.